For the last 9 months, I've been sailing around the world by myself in the most extreme oceanic environments that exist on this planet. Like when I got back, the first thing I said, what I miss? I started from the west coast of North America, in particular Victoria, British Columbia, last October 28th, and I sailed around the world non-stop, solo, in a small sailboat through the Southern Ocean, and arrived back in Victoria July 18th, 2020. I was actually really anxious about coming back. I had some idea of what was going on with respect to COVID, but I mean, you can't fully understand it or fully grasp it until you actually are immersed in it. Firstly, am I going to be quarantined? I was anxious about that. I was anxious about, what the world might look like. You realize that people are very cognizant of the social distancing, so they're constantly moving away from you. It's a really, really harsh and brutal introduction to the new world. And I understood some of it, but not all of it. And then, of course, it's seeing your wife again, seeing your family and friends. It was unbelievably overwhelming. I definitely wasn't the safest person in the world by any stretch of the imagination, other than the singular aspect of COVID. The person who coined that phrase, as far as I know, is not a sailor. The sailing itself is incredibly dangerous just because the weather is so extreme, the waves are so big, the water is so cold, and of course you're so far away from help. But to be honest, I never felt isolated because I was always writing something. My philosophy was, if you emailed me, then I answered you, which got to be a bit of a challenge because towards the end I was, when I could have been sleeping, I was writing emails, like to a lot of emails. How I've changed, or what the biggest impact on me was, I think that the longer I was away, the noise of my normal everyday life sort of began to, fade away. The things that you shed, the things that sort of end up away from you are unimportant. One of the things that's really nice is not being strapped down into your bed with a seatbelt, not sleeping with all your clothes on because it's just too hard to get undressed and dressed when the weather's terrible. People have asked me, did you ever think about turning around and coming back? And the answer to that question is no. I never would allow myself the luxury of saying, well, I can always, at any stage I can quit. That was just never going to happen. So part of that you're never going to quit is that you're always going to be alone until you actually finish, and then you won't be alone anymore.